Martha wants to say hello. Hello. Say hello, Martha. Come on. Say hello to everybody. So week 1 is now done. Normally in the first few weeks of a transformation program, things are pretty slow. With that being said, there isn't much really to report in on this week. What I have done, however, is I've cleaned my diet up. I've stopped having takeaways midweek, which I was doing a hell of a lot of in December and November. Costing me a lot of money as well, so I'm saving quite a bit of money by not having takeaways all the time. I've increased my veggie intake by so much. I'm actually quite enjoying my food right now, it's pretty tasty. Basically, I've been making sure I'm hitting my protein goals and keeping my calories kind of roughly where they need to be to lose weight. I also shaved off all the hair from my belly and my chest. I was quite pleasantly surprised. I didn't think I was as lean as I was. Not saying I'm super lean, but I'm a lot leaner than I thought I was. There's a bit of a six-pack there and a bit more definition than I first thought, which is always nice because it just means I'm going to get to where I want to get to quite a lot quicker than I thought I was going to. I didn't do too much filming this week. Basically in the first week or two, especially in January, the gyms are quite busy, and honestly I just kind of want to get into the swing of my own program. There's a few things I need to just adjust with my program, so I'm not going to do too much filming yet. I did film a bit of one of my leg days, which I'll roll out in a bit, show you a bit of that. Nothing too exciting, just a bit of footage to go in the background of this video. So in 2022, I've set myself a goal to read 22 different books. The reason for 22 is basically because of the year, and I live a bit of a gimmick when it comes to these kind of goals, so no real importance there. I could have said I was going to read 1 book per week, but I know myself all too well, and I definitely would have failed that. So I'm being a bit more realistic and sticking with 22. I probably will set myself a few other different goals based on this number, just because I do live a gimmick and it helps me keep on track of things. So the first book I've read this year is by a guy called Robert Glover, and the book is called No More Mr. Nice Guy. During the first hour or two of reading this book, I was genuinely laughing out loud, just because it was describing my life so far pretty much down to a T. It was basically just constantly slapping me in the face with insights to how I've lived my entire life, pretty much up until last year or the year before. Like I said last week, I did a lot of therapy last year, so luckily for me, reading this book, all it did really was just kind of solidify, I guess, all the issues I've been working on and fixing. So I took the book with a pinch of salt, even though it was hitting me very close to home. I can safely say that I'm no longer a nice guy. Well, for the most part. I think there's still a few little things to iron out, but yeah, for the most part, I've definitely stepped away from the nice guy role. That doesn't mean I'm a dickhead, it just means I stepped away from the nice guy role. So I'm not saying nice guys need to act more like the typical narcissistic fuckboy. What I am saying is there is a bit of difference between a nice guy and a genuine guy. The main difference being really is the thought process and the reason why nice guys do things and the reason why genuine people do things. I won't go into too much detail. Obviously it can be quite a touchy subject for a lot of people, and I'm not saying that nice guys are genuinely bad. I'm just saying that a typical nice guy will possess a lot of toxic traits. Fair, the traits of a nice guy are actually pretty good. It's just there's a difference between a nice guy and a genuine guy, like I said, with the thought process behind them. Generally, with the nice guy, there's more of a toxic, manipulative behaviour behind their actions, and a lot of times they're not even aware of this, because remember, being self-aware is probably one of the best things you can be in life, and a lot of people are not. And if you are not very self-aware, and you are a nice guy, you can end up being a bit of a dick, I feel. Not on a narcissistic level, and I'm sure we've all met one or two in our life, and again, they can cause a lot of pain. So I would say, if you think of yourself as a nice guy, or you've been told you're a nice guy by other people, the book's definitely worth a read. With that being said, if you are going to read it, just try and get some self-awareness about yourself first. Better yet, if you are going to read it, maybe make sure you have some form of therapy going on. Because if you are a nice guy and you're reading it, and it does ring true, you will 100% get triggered, and it will definitely stir up a lot of emotions and have you questioning a lot of things in your life. Like I said before, luckily for me, most of the issues described in this book I've worked on massively and changed in the past year. So for me, they are more humorous to hear rather than triggering. I think if I read this book maybe 2 years ago, it would have triggered the shit out of me and set me into a massive spiral of depression. So be warned, if you are going to read it, just make sure that you have some safe people around you, or you're having some form of therapy. And to quote the book, to give you a little bit of an idea of a nice guy, it says, "Just about everything a nice guy does is consciously or unconsciously calculated to gain someone's approval or to avoid disapproval." So with that being said, it doesn't actually mean the person is toxic or is a bad person. It just means that some of the ways they go about things can actually be quite manipulative and quite toxic. The word toxic is thrown about a lot these days, isn't it? I think there's a different level of toxicity with different things. When you're talking a narcissist level of toxicity, that can be quite meaningful, and there can be quite a lot of intention behind what the person's doing. I think with the nice guy, the intentions are not always transparent, or the nice guy is not fully aware of his, maybe even her actions. So yeah, when I say toxic, I don't mean toxic as in the way that word is constantly thrown about these days. That's toxic, blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up with that. There's different levels of toxic. So in the coming weeks, I'll start doing some physique updates, which basically means I'll be stood here prancing about in my boxer shorts, just so we can see the difference in my physique week by week. Especially as the weeks go on, there should be some big changes coming up. That's part of transformation, isn't it? It's always nice to see the physical side of a transformation. Capturing the mental side is quite hard. Hopefully, over the next 6 months or so, when we can look back at these videos, this will definitely showcase some form of mental transformation. One last thing about the nice guy mentality. I think one of the big reasons it took me so long to start filming myself on camera was exactly to do with some of the traits that a nice guy possesses. So next week I want to talk about why I named this program Rebirth and not Revival. There is a bit of a mindset lesson there, hopefully, to be taught. So this is the end of week 1. I'm going to set myself a goal to see a big change in how I come across on the camera by week 10. Hopefully it's a lot more confident, and I speak my mind a bit better. I can't tell you how hard it is to actually stand in front of a camera and just talk. It's quite awkward. It does feel very awkward. You lose your train of thought a lot. Again, this is just me babbling on at the end of the video, kind of so I got some footage to look back on and think, oh fuck, look how terrible you were on camera and look how okay you are now. Yeah, but it's pretty hard, but we're definitely going to focus on getting better at it. So anyway, I hope everyone who's been watching these videos carries on watching them, and I hope whoever's watching them has started their own transformation this year. And I hope if you keep watching this video series, it will give you a bit of motivation somewhere along the line. Maybe not this week, maybe not next week, but you might find something that rings true with you and it gives you that bit of fire just to keep pushing on. If you're having a bad mental health day and something I say on one of these videos kind of rings true with you and it makes you realise you're not alone, then my job here is done, and I'm happy. What do you have to say for yourself? Have you been on a diet? No, he's trying to fucking deep throat my finger again, as usual. Behave yourself, boy. He's not been on a diet, he's massive now.